Hello guys, good morning. We already discussed about what is Ansible, how to install Ansible, and how to connect Ansible server with some remote machine. Okay, see, we are using these three machines only. So one is I'm using as Ansible master, another two will be I'm using as remote machine, node machine. Okay, so this is as per Ansible, this is my control node. These two all are my managed nodes. Okay, so now I'm going to tell about means already in the last session I means we discussed about what is Adhoc commands, what is Ansible playbook, right? So now we are going to execute some Ansible Adhoc commands. Okay, so first let's start with the before that I need to create one inventory file. Before going into commands, need to create inventory file. Okay, so as I said already, the etc under etc there is a folder called Ansible, and the default inventory file will be hosts. So this will not create when we are using the pip to install Ansible. Even this Ansible directory also will not be there. Okay, so I have created this Ansible directory using mkdir command. Then after that, now we are going to create this file. Okay, so let's go into the etc Ansible. So now I am under etc Ansible. Now I am just giving ls. It is having ansible.cfg. I just created using the ansible-config command. This host file created by me for testing purpose, so I am just removing it. We'll create it again. Okay, so since I am using user, it is asking me to use sudo, right? So now let's see how to create the inventory file and what is inventory file, what is available inside of the inventory file. Okay, so I'm just using it VA editor to create the inventory file. So the default file name will be host. You can name it anything, it's not a problem. Okay, fine. So I'm just creating a new file. You can see here there is nothing inside the file. So here I am going to use the IP address or host name of the server. Since we are doing testing, we are not going to use the host name. I'm going to use the private IP address of the my node machines. So why means to connect to any AWS instance, we will use public IP address, right? So but now I am using the private IP address, right? So you might have that question. So why? Because when we restart a machine, means AWS instance, there might be a chance of changing the public IP address. So but the private IP address will not change. So that's why I am using the private IP address. Why? Because I am going to use these machines only till end of this Ansible session. Okay, so this is simple inventory. I'm just mentioning the IP address of servers one by one. So you should not use like this, means after this IP after giving some comma. Okay, so I'm giving comma but it is not taking the IP. You should not ask like that. But why? Because this Ansible is having some syntax. So every program is having something syntax. Okay, so this is also having some syntax. So inventory should be created like this only, one by one you need to give. So the next line, in the next lines only, you need to provide the IP address or host name of the server. Okay, Fine. So sometimes you might have noticed in real time they are using names like web and db or some application names it will be. So how they are using it, you might have the doubt on your mind, right? So for that it is a simple solution. So that is called grouping. Okay, that is called grouping. So grouping of your IP addresses. So I am just simply going to use web. So whatever I am giving in the square bracket name web, after that whatever the IP I am giving, that will be considered as that servers. Okay, so here I am using simply one IP for web, one IP for DB. Okay, so one server will be for web server. I am just assuming that one server is for web, one server is for DB. Okay, so I am just, that's it. The inventory file you can mention one by one IP address, or else you can group by the name. Okay, like this. In the square brackets you need to provide the name. After that you need to provide the IP. So the how many IPs you are giving, that's not a problem. You can give, there is no limitation also. You can use n number of IPs. Okay, right. So since okay, I will use sudo, so that's why it is not allowing me. So now you can read this file, you can see the inventory file which we created, right? So next what I need to do is I need to enable this inventory file in the configuration file. So this is my Ansible configuration file. So you can edit this configuration file and you can search for inventory. Okay, so by default this will be disabled, this will be disabled, as well as I have not changed this entries. Okay, this is default entry. As I said already, the host will be the default inventory file name. So if you are using some other name, you can change it here also, or else you can add one more entry also, that's not a problem. So just simply I am using the default name, I am just uncommenting it. Okay, just enabling this. Okay, so I will tell you why we are mentioning the inventory in my configuration file. Okay, so now I created the inventory file. So now I am going to execute some Adhoc command. Okay, so first I need to give Ansible to execute an Adhoc command. Then what I need to give is all. All means all the IP address I am going to ping in my host, means inventory. All the hosts I am going to ping my inventory. So next -i /etc/ansible/host. So this is my inventory file. Then -m is to mention the module. So ping is the module I am going to use here. That's it. Then finally, so okay, fine, let's execute this. So here it is giving some errors. It will not, oh okay, fine. So here it is working. Okay, so here it is working. Why? Because already I connected. Maybe because of that it will work. Sometimes this command will not work, it will give error. When if you are facing any error in your Adhoc commands, try to execute with the -b. So -b means become, which means become root user. Okay, sudo user, I'm just giving the sudo access for my EC2 user. Fine. So now the ping is successful on all my machines. So here you can see I am giving -i. This option is to mention my inventory file. So if I am using some other file, I can use this option. So since I already enabled my means inventory path in my configuration, so I don't want to use this. To show you only, I just used this. So here simply I don't want to use this. It will take it from my Ansible configuration. I will execute simply Ansible all -m ping. That's it. So it will work. So this is my simple Ansible Adhoc command. So this is pinging all the IP address of my inventory. So we already grouped by the name. Okay, one IP is for web, one IP is for DB. So I am using that name here simply. So I am just trying to ping only the IP which will come under web. So you can see. So this is the IP will comes under web. So if you want, you can check that also. So under web 64 1164. So this is the one. Okay, this is how the inventory will work. Okay, so if you enabled the inventory in configuration file, then automatically it will take it from configuration. You no need to mention the inventory file. So other than that, if you are using some other inventory file for one time work, so on the time you may use like this. -i is to mention the inventory file, then the full path of inventory file, or else if you are executing in the same directory where the inventory file is available, you can mention the inventory file name. That's it. Okay, it will execute. So this is like this. You can execute Adhoc command. So for Ansible, you will find all the things as documents in doc.ansible.com. Okay, so using the Ansible Adhoc command, I am going to install HTTPD package on my web server, which means I grouped, right? So in that server I am going to install HTTPD package. Let's see how it will be. So if you don't know, simply you can go here in Google, you can search for Ansible Adhoc command to install HTTPD. Okay, so now you can see introduction to Adhoc commands under docs.ansible.com. So here you have multiple examples. Okay, so I saw some example for copying some file. I'm just going to use that options to install. Okay, so you can see here to copy some files I'm using it. So this is not for copying, this is for copying. Okay, so here you can see -a, so which means arguments. So argument is nothing but it is which will comes under the part of your activity. So I am going to install HTTPD package. In that activity, what will be your part? So your part will be what is the package name, then of means whether it should be available, means are you going to install or not. Okay, so are you going to install or not? So for that we will use maximum arguments state. Okay, so in the name you can mention any, if you are going to install some package, that package name, or if you are going to start any service, that service, okay, service name, anything you can mention here. In the state, if you are going to install something, install, for that the state should be present. State should be present. Okay, then to uninstall, so just opposite, absent. So absent will be my state to uninstall. Same state will differ on the service module. Okay, if you want to start any service, for that started. If you want to restart, restarted. So if you want to stop, stopped. Okay, that's it. Fine. This is how the state will differ for service and for package. Okay, for the files also you can mention present or absent. To remove you can use absent, or you can use direct commands also. We'll use that also. Okay, I will show you how to do that. Okay, so now I am going to use these as arguments. To mention these arguments, I need to use hyphen a. Okay, hyphen a to mention the arguments. Okay, so let's see how it is going to be. So first, Ansible is a command, then I am going to install on web servers only. Okay, then hyphen m, the module for installing any package, m. So if you don't know, you can, same as I did Google, you can see Ansible command to install package in Linux. You can search it. So you can see here Ansible apt module or Ansible m module it is giving. So Ansible apt module will be for Ubuntu machines, Ansible m module for Linux machines. Okay, Red Hat Linux machines. So I am going to use m. So why? Because I am using Red Hat Linux. Okay, then I am going to mention the arguments. So I am using m, but what I am going to do using the m? Okay, so for that I need to give as an argument. So that's why I am using hyphen a. So here you can see so how we are giving the arguments. So name space then the state. Okay, so I am giving in double quotes. So the name will be httpd space state equal to present. That's it. So this is telling that command has to be run as root user. So I told you, right? So you need to use hyphen b. So I am giving the, means b means become a sudo user it will be. So now you can see here it is installed. Okay, it is installed on my 1164, which is my web, under it will comes under my web. Okay, so I will check in this machine. This is 1164. I will log in. So from here itself I will give SSH. Yes, it is is connected. Sudo rpm-qa httpd. So it is installed, right? So I just came out from the server, right? So this is how we can use the Adhoc commands, right? So now I am going to create some playbook for same ping, okay, for same ping, or some other, to install some packages. So here I am going to create another directory, mkdir playbook. So why? Because so I am going to create more than one playbook, so it's not going to be in same place, so it will be confused, okay, when I am giving ls. So it will get confused when I am using more than one playbook. So in that case, when I am creating the playbook directory under Ansible, etc Ansible, so easily I can understand all the playbooks will be available under playbook folder. Okay, so I am going to create here. So for this, simply I am going to use VA editor only. Okay, so let's say I am going to use again httpd, okay, to install httpd. Let's see. So dot yaml. So I am giving, some people will give YAML, some people will give YML. So but both are same only, it doesn't matter. So you can use it, enter. So it is a new file here. So first what I need to give here is host. So what I need to give here is host. So when we are using the Adhoc command, first it will be Ansible is a command. After that I will mention the host, right? So but now we are going to use the Ansible playbook, so that's why I should use the host first. So here I am using in the DB group. Under DB group I am going to install my httpd package. Fine. Anyhow, it's not rules that we should not use the httpd, or we should not install the httpd under the DB server. Okay, so I'm just to show you only, I just named as web1db. Fine. So next what I need to do is become remote user. Remote user in the sense who is going to connect with my remote machine. So EC2 user will be me the remote user, right? So EC2 user keys only I am using it. Then become. So we mentioned finally -b, right, when I used Adhoc command to install httpd. So for that become yes. So next what I am going to do, some activity, so that will be considered as tasks. Okay, just give colon, then enter. From the third letter of task you can mention -name. So this -name is nothing but it's like a echo command or print command. So it will print whatever you are typing here. So I am just giving installing httpd on remote server. Okay, so then I am using the module. So in Adhoc commands, after the inventory I used -m to mention the module. Same like that I am going to mention the module here. So to install any package I need to use m, right? So m using. So under that, so in Adhoc command we used arguments, right? So same arguments I need to use here. So name colon space httpd, then state colon present. So that's it. So you can see here when I am using this, the third letter I am taking it. Okay, third letter I am taking it from the module. When I am mentioning the arguments I am using the third letter. So that will be that is the identification which I am using it. It works for me. Sorry. So since I didn't use the sudo, it is not allowing me to So let me copy this, then with sudo I will create. Okay, so I created and just deleted the empty line. Fine. So now you can see here, so you no need to provide execute permission or something here. Why? Because I am going to use the Ansible direct. So to run any Ansible playbook, this is the command Ansible -playbook. To run the Adhoc command, simply Ansible only. Okay, to run playbook -playbook you can add, then you can use the playbook name. That's it. So enter. Yeah, right. Before going to use this, when I'm using the Adhoc command itself, I should have means we should have checked it, but no problem, we'll do it when I'm doing the playbook. Okay, so I will check in my, this is used for DB server 106. Okay, I grouped this as DB server. Here I will check it, so whether the HTTPD is installed or not. So it is not installed. Okay, 106. Fine. Now I will use the Ansible playbook to install on that machine. So you can see here it is gathering facts. Okay, then installing HTTPD on remote server. I told you, right, when I am using the -m, that will be like echo or print command. So whatever I am giving, it will print. That's it. So it is changed something on my machine, means installed finally. So now you can check again. You can go to same machine, same command. So now the HTTP is installed, right? HTTPD is installed using the playbook. So this is how we can use the playbooks. In the next session we will use roles. We will come to know how to use the roles. So in real time the roles will be playing the major role. Okay, thank you guys, thanks for your support.